The nurse screamed the moment the fourth puppy hit the table. The vet's glove slipped, his face draining of color. The newborn wasn't like the others. Its skin shimmered under the light, veins glinting silver, and when it cried, it sounded mechanical. "Doctor, what is that?" she whispered, backing away. Dr. Harris didn't answer. He just stared, frozen, trembling, as the heart monitor beside him spiked uncontrollably. This wasn't a birth. It was a revelation. Outside, thunder rolled through the sky, and the terrified mother dog whimpered as if she knew what she'd brought into the world wasn't meant to exist. The vet took one slow step back and whispered, "This shouldn't be alive." What happened next left everyone speechless. The phone rang just as dawn broke over the quiet countryside. Dr. Harris, the town's only veterinarian, rubbed his tired eyes and answered groggily. On the other end, a farmer's frantic voice cut through the static. "Doctor, please, it's Grace. She's not doing well. She's in labor, but something's wrong." Before Harris could reply, the line went dead. He grabbed his coat and rushed out, the cold morning air biting at his face. When he arrived at the clinic, the farmer was already there, holding the trembling German shepherd in his arms. Grace's breathing was shallow, her eyes half open yet full of pain. "She's been like this since last night," the farmer stammered. "She saved my son last year, remember? Please don't let her die." Dr. Harris gently laid Grace on the examination table. Her heartbeat was irregular, and her stomach contractions came in uneven waves. "Hang on, girl," he murmured, stroking her fur. "You've done harder things before." He called for his assistant, Lily, to prepare the delivery tools. As the fluorescent lights flickered on, the small clinic filled with urgency. None of them knew it yet, but what was about to happen inside that room would defy everything they believed about life and nature. The clinic was quiet except for the steady beeping of the monitor and Grace's labored breathing. Dr. Harris wiped the sweat from his forehead, his gloves slick and trembling. "Easy, girl. Just breathe," he whispered, his voice calm but his pulse racing. Lily stood beside him, handing over clean towels and syringes, her hands shaking slightly. The first puppy arrived, a small, healthy pup with soft brown fur. Then another followed, whining weakly, but alive. For a moment, relief filled the room, but then Grace whimpered, a deep, guttural sound that made both of them freeze. Her body tensed violently. The third puppy came out larger than the rest, its fur darker, skin oddly cold to the touch. Dr. Harris frowned. He cleaned it gently, but something about it felt off. Its chest rose and fell unevenly, its eyes still sealed shut but glowing faintly beneath the lids. "Is it okay?" Lily asked, her voice trembling. Dr. Harris didn't answer. He placed a stethoscope against its chest and felt a vibration, not a heartbeat, but a faint humming sound. The hair on his neck stood up. "Keep it warm," he said quickly. But as Grace let out another strained cry, they both realized. The night was far from over. The room was thick with tension. Lily stood frozen, her eyes locked on the strange puppy lying on the towel. It didn't move like the others. It twitched, as if adjusting to the air itself. Dr. Harris bent closer, curiosity and fear twisting inside him. He lifted the newborn gently, inspecting it under the light. The skin beneath its dark fur shimmered faintly, almost metallic. When it cried, the sound wasn't soft like a whimper. It was sharp, vibrating in a way that made the glass jars on the shelves tremble. Lily gasped. "Doctor, what's wrong with it?" Her voice cracked, but Harris didn't respond. His focus was fixed on the umbilical cord, thin and silvery, unlike any he'd ever seen. He grabbed a small scalpel and carefully touched it. The surface reflected light, like wire. "This isn't natural," he murmured. Suddenly, Grace whimpered again. The heart monitor spiked wildly. Harris rushed back, his gloves slick with sweat. Another contraction hit, harder this time. "She's not done," he shouted. A fourth puppy emerged, but as it did, the nurse screamed. Stamped faintly across its side were markings, tiny, perfect numbers, like serial codes burned into its skin. Doctor Harris staggered back, his breath catching. "Oh my God," he whispered. "What in the world have you been carrying, Grace?" By morning, the clinic was sealed off. The strange puppies lay in separate incubators, their faint cries echoing through the sterile halls. Dr. Harris hadn't slept. His mind was drowning in questions. He sent samples to the city lab overnight: blood, tissue, and a strange silvery cord. When the results came back, they didn't make sense. The report listed traces of synthetic compounds, microfibers resembling metal, and genetic sequences that didn't match any known species. Lily stared at the printout, her hands trembling. Synthetic DNA? That's impossible, right? Harris rubbed his temples. In theory, yes. But this, he pointed at the samples. This was grown, not born. Before they could process it, black SUVs pulled up outside the clinic. Men in suits entered without knocking, flashing government IDs. One of them, expressionless, spoke firmly. Dr. Harris, you are to surrender all living specimens and related data immediately. They're classified property. The farmer, who had come to check on Grace, looked bewildered. Property? What are you talking about? She's my dog. But the men ignored him, moving toward the kennels. Doctor Harris stepped in front of them, heart pounding. You can't take her. She's barely recovering. The lead agent gave a cold glance. Then I suggest you make peace quickly, doctor. That animal isn't what you think she is. Night fell heavy over the clinic. The agents had taken the strange pups and sealed the lab, but Dr. Harris couldn't rest. Something inside him refused to accept the silence. Long after everyone left, he unlocked his office, turned on a single lamp, and opened Grace's medical scans once more. His tired eyes traced the faint shapes on the screen, and then he saw it. A small, metallic object near her abdomen. It wasn't bone. It wasn't tissue. It was a device. Heart pounding, he zoomed in. The markings on the implant matched the same serial numbers that had appeared on the pup's skin. A cold shiver ran through him. Oh no, he whispered. Grace hadn't been born with it. Someone had put it there. He checked her old records, cross-referencing dates and tags. Everything led to one chilling conclusion. Grace had escaped from a biotech research facility shut down months ago after a scandal involving animal experimentation. She had been pregnant when she fled. Those puppies weren't miracles. They were creations. Doctor Harris leaned back, his stomach turning. He realized Grace had carried both nature and science inside her, a mother protecting something the world should never have made. And for the first time in his career, he didn't know which deserved saving: the truth or the innocent creature who bore it. The next morning, armed vehicles surrounded the clinic. Dr. Harris stood at the entrance, his coat fluttering in the wind. Inside, Grace lay weak but alert, her eyes fixed on the door. The agents entered, expressionless, ready to take her away. But as one reached for the leash, Grace rose slowly, growling low and steady. Her fur bristled, teeth bared, not in fear, but defiance. The agents hesitated. Dr. Harris stepped forward, his voice firm. She's not a machine. She's a mother. She deserves better than this. The lead agent didn't respond. Orders are orders. He nodded to his men. Grace barked sharply, positioning herself between them and the small crate where one surviving pup still slept. The men froze. Something about her gaze stopped them cold. In that split second, Dr. Harris made his choice. Run, girl, he whispered. He opened the back door. Grace bolted through the snow, the wind howling around her. Shouts erupted behind him, but Harris didn't move. Weeks later, a plain envelope arrived at his desk. Inside was a single photograph: Grace standing on a misty hillside, her pup beside her, both staring into the sunrise. On the back were 4 words, written in Grace's owner's hand: "Some things stay free." Dr. Harris smiled softly, tears in his eyes.